Hey, Kong fam. So I'm still very surprised by a couple things. One is we have our great comic book conservation group, and we have a lot of great videos out there. You know, we got Captain Larry, we've got Dr. Paul, Jerry the Jitterbug, Peter, and myself. I think I do pretty good videos. You know, two questions in the conservation group or Facebook group caught my attention this week. And one was someone asking, should they be, I don't know, afraid or concerned about working on Golden Age books? And that's about all we work on between the 4 or 5 of us is Golden Age books. And then someone asked also about Rust. You know, I know I've made several videos on that. I had this book. I was planning on doing it off camera just so I could really concentrate on it, but I decided to go ahead and select it. So this is a Captain Marvel number 47, and you can see the obvious, which is the staples are rusted. Some rust has migrated through, leaving some staining here. Overall, the cover is just really dirty. It's flat though; it's nice and flat. Someone's written an S there. I promise that wasn't me. And this is, I believe, a retelling of the origin, so it's kind of a important book. Usually, buying this in high grade costs quite a bit of money, and I purchased it at a good price because of the rust. The back cover is very dirty. It even has a stain here. Very dirty across the top. Now the interior pages look pretty good, but I'll notice that rust. And that rust probably happened because of whatever was, you know, spilt over here on the book. Looks like someone's drawing a little mark there too. But yeah, you can see where that rust has come through and come through there. I mean, the staples look pretty solid. You know, normally though, when you start trying to take these books apart is where you'll start uncovering some things that are hidden. A little bit of something, some dark area up here. I'm gonna hold it like this. 1945. So it is a 2-staple book. Oh, Captain Marvel and the Marvel Ant. But really beautiful. A little bit of fold over there on the bottom. Oh, I'd love to have one of those. Captain Marvel Club. Come on, gang. Get this swell emblem today. I don't know if that's metal or just a patch. I look for Captain Marvel items like this, and you just don't see them come up too often. Or when they do, definitely they cost quite a bit. We see all this staining here that's come through. It's worse in some areas than others. Look, free gifts and war saving stamps. Just for eating some popsicles. Alright, here's our centerfold. Oh yeah, this is bad. This staple probably is going to fall apart. Actually, yeah, there's a lot of rust coming off here with this staple. I can barely see it. I'm not sure. There's one leg that's really short. Yeah, there's one leg here, it's really short, and I've had staples this rusted just pop on me, and I would not be surprised if the same isn't true here. So yeah, we're gonna have to be careful. Top staple looks like it's gonna live, but that bottom staple, see it through here. So I thought this was a retelling of its origin somewhere. Maybe I missed it. I wasn't not reading the book. I'm just flipping through, looking at it, you know, looking at like this big miscut here. They were just so bad back then in the Golden Age. Okay, we can definitely see now from this stain and such, just coming through here, and that stain is right through here, but I don't really see where it's left a tide line, but it's definitely left all this. So, and again, look how bad miscut it is on this right hand side of the wraps. I'm not so worried about the cover. You know, we're gonna give it a good bath, and I've had some luck with these lighter kind of staining coming out in the bath, so we're gonna hope for that. Next is doing all of these wraps. So if y'all remember, a couple episodes ago, we did some work on some wraps, and we had some ink loss on the interior. Now that was an earlier, I mean, this is 1945. I think that was from 1943. But we're going to have to be a little careful, and maybe we'll do some tests first, because the colors are so great in here. If anything, we'll do the spray method and just spray onto here. I'm surprised this centerfold is holding. And probably once we remove this rusty staple, we're going to see holes in this centerfold. So, all right, well, let's get to it. Let's get this book apart and get a little better look at what we're dealing with. All right, before we take the book apart, I'm going to try and work on that first question that I talked about. Someone asking, should you be afraid of working with Golden Age books? So the first thing we're going to do is a bit of a dry clean, which just consists of rubbing. You can see that rust. Rubbing a cotton round along the book. This will first removes dirt, but it'll give you an indication of the health, so to speak, of these inks. If you start seeing some ink come up, and all that is just dirt, I don't see any colors or anything, then that is going to be an indicator to you of what the book can handle. And you know, Dr. Paul talks about it. You can really feel when you're doing this, any imperfections, anything that you just haven't seen, maybe things embedded in the paper. I can feel that's a bit rougher in this area. Okay, looks like I got most of it off with that first wipe. I like to kind of go down the spine. That's where you get a lot of, that's where a lot of your dirt and stuff is. We're going to go across this top. Notice I'm being careful along the edges. So I'm going in one direction, always from the inside out, so I don't snag the edge of the book. Yeah, see a lot of that dirt coming up. You might not be able to see it on camera, but definitely I'm seeing a little bit of an improvement already. And again, I'm lucky that there's not a lot of tears. You'd be more careful if there were tears or something around the edge of the book. Luckily, there's not. Now, once we do that, we can kind of go in a circular motion. Again, I don't see any ink or anything coming up, just dirt. So I feel pretty good with us doing the bath with this cover. I have dry, clean hands. Though if you're a little concerned, I still see some there. If you're a little concerned, you can get a pack of these cotton white gloves. These things are great. I used them when I used to do a lot of wet cleaning by hand using the ImmacuClean. I would do this because when I went across the book, the first time the book be kind of sticky, and so this helped. So if you're concerned, you can use the gloves. Not to clean, of course, but just to hold the book and stuff like that if you're really worried about maybe you got sweaty hands. I don't know. But these are great. It's super cheap. It's like a big bag of them for like $10 or something on Amazon. And I really suggest these versus, and actually they talked about this on the conservation show on Sunday, is stay away from like latex and rubber gloves. Those have such a tendency to snag and stick to your books that definitely it's not a good idea to use rubber or latex. This area is so dirty up here. Still getting a little bit of dirt up, but there we go. Now we'll move on to the staples. All right, I think all of us recommend using Rick at Immaculate Comics Capable Staple Tool and Capable Staple Remover or Flawless Staple Tool. So if we look, the bottom leg is very, very short. So I'm going to try and start with this top leg. Now, one thing too, if you want, which helps out a lot sometimes, notice my book is bending. I'll sometimes just kind of hold the book flat a bit. I'm talking to Rick about us maybe manufacturing some larger ones, maybe some L-shaped ones or something. Nice L-shaped one would be really great. Just kind of lay down and work. All right, so I'm using this to kind of hold this down and see if we can get this leg up. Oh, man, I could feel it wanting to break. It is so thin from the rust. We're going to be so careful here. And I don't know if that leg is broken because of the rust, but yeah, it's just an itty bitty. We'll look at that in a second. All right, turn the book around. I don't have a preference of what leg. I just see which one kind of wants to come up, and neither of them is wanting to come up. Now, unlike modern staples that have kind of a curve and the legs bite into the book, these Golden Age staples are flat. So there's no curve to really kind of get underneath. So you just try to snag, so to speak, the staple and see if you can get it to lift up. And this staple is being stubborn. I got my fingernail under that one. Oh, there we go. These staples are so thin of this age because they were still conserving on, or they was conserving on metal during the war. What's up, Jack? I don't need you laying on top of that. All right. Move these things away that can hurt kitty cats. Okay, I am going to, all right, take out these staples, then we'll take some pictures and, oh, bless you. And move on to the next part. So give me a second. So I'm not ready to throw these staples in the Evapo-Rust yet. So what I'm going to do, and I don't want to put them under tape because they are rusty. I still feel like this one might just disintegrate at any moment. So what I'm going to do is, excuse me, Jack. Carefully remove these. There's that top one. Jack. Here's the bottom one. All right. So notice how much longer, and that's the reason why that leg is shorter. It looks like because it just went into the book awkwardly, and this leg is really long. So, but what I do is leave those, and then I put another cotton round on top. And I know which is which, and I'm put this over out of the way. Okay. Let's take a little bit of a look. Yeah, see right here. See how that rust is eating through the paper? So that's what I thought, is it was just kind of holding. But yeah, that rust is eating through that paper. It's starting to eat through this part of the paper too. So I definitely have to do a mending on this. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes through a couple of wraps like that. No, but we do have that rust stain. All right, but we are not dealing with these wraps at the moment. I'll put those aside and deal with that at another point. All right, Jack. Okay, take a closer look. All right, we see the same thing, which I thought we would, is that rust is eating through the paper. The paper's there, but it's falling apart. I would not be surprised if we don't lose some of that when we're doing the bath. Kind of weird how the rust has eaten through this bottom hole too, and I would be surprised if we lose a piece of the cover there. It's just kind of weird how that liquid or whatever it was, you know, I don't know. I'm not a chemist. Not a chemist. Dr. Paul or someone could probably look at this, or Paul or Peter, and say, oh, that's due to blah, 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 blah. But I wouldn't have any idea what they're talking about. Whenever I bathe my books, I use one piece of Hollytex. The reason why is because if you look at some of Dr. Paul and Larry's videos, they had color get removed on a couple of books. And talking to them and a few other people, we were concerned, you know, this Hollytex is really smooth. It could be maybe the rubbing, because once you get the water in there, this thing floats around, and you'll see whenever I put the water in, you know, I kind of try to press it down gently, but we were concerned that maybe some of that moving around was causing some of the ink lift. Anyway, I just wanted to explain that. And then when I take the book out of the development tray, I do lay another piece of Hollytex on top, so I could put my paper towels on top of the Hollytex, and the paper towels aren't directly touching the book. If I were to have any kind of color loss or something, I'd rather it happen on the inside of the book rather than the cover. So that's why I do mine. Jack, thank you. Come over here. That is why I do my books cover side up in the development tray. So, all right. We're going to get some water and get to washing.